Hello and welcome to Renovation Uncovered, a series of podcasts from Renovation Underwriting. Over the past 4 episodes, we've journeyed through your property renovation from concept to completion. Listen back to previous episodes for handy tips like how to communicate clearly and effectively with your contractors, how to organise a party wall agreement, and why you need renovation insurance before your project begins. This episode is called The Secrets of Success.
Over the last 13, 14 years, we've insured billions of pounds worth of property and works, some interesting, some not so, but you learn an awful lot by observing what goes on and observing what goes wrong. And so what I thought I'd try to do to round up on this series of podcasts was really write down my magnificent 7 of what you really need to look out for and what you need to think about. Bear in mind that this isn't an exhaustive list, but it's what occurs to me as somebody who sees projects go wrong or go awry more often than they go well. So my number 1 is know the structure. Know what you're dealing with. If you're going to be doing a load of really ambitious structural works, putting in basements, facade retentions, even big extensions on the back, then know what you're working with. So get a full structural survey and make sure that that's available to all the other professionals who are working on the job and the contractor, because it's material and it's really important. As an underwriter, we love a structural survey. It tells us all we need to know about the existing structure. Get some professional advice. Number 2, get some professional advice. Employ an architect, employ a structural engineer. You're probably going to need a planner as well. One thing that everybody forgets is legal advice around a building contract. And if you're doing a reasonably ambitious contract, then really you want a solicitor or a professional contract administrator to actually design your JCT contract with you, okay, and your contractor. If it's a small contract, then a minor works JCT.
JCT, by the way, stands for Joint Contracts Tribunal. They're a standard set of contracts used by the building industry to help deliver your project.
A medium, use the intermediate JCT, and if it's a very large contract, then a standard form JCT. The insurance section has certain options within it that allow either the cover to be arranged by the contractor or by the property owner. Always opt to organise your own insurance. Take responsibility for that, because you're the one who owns the assets, you're the one who's running all the risks. What you don't want to do is to let somebody else organise the insurance, it go wrong, and then you not get paid. So you're in a much stronger position, particularly as a retail purchaser, under the FCA rules that we have in this country, buying an insurance that's appropriate for what you're doing, guided by a professional and specified by a building contract.
Let's do a bit on FCA then. FCA rules refer to the regulations and guidelines established by the Financial Conduct Authority. That's the FCA bit. They're a regulatory body in the UK responsible for overseeing the conduct of financial services firms and markets too.
The JCT, or Joint Contracts Tribunal contract, is the primary contract. That's the one that signposts who's doing what. And the insurance contract is the secondary contract. So if you get the JCT bit wrong, then your insurance isn't going to work properly anyway. Number 3, get those legals right. One of the things that everybody forgets is the provisions in their mortgage contract. So within your mortgage contract, if you're borrowing money to purchase your home as well as finance the works, what you'll probably find is that there's a clause that specifies a minimum level of insurance. And if your home insurer said, we'll only cover you for fire during the works, that won't be compliant with your mortgage contract, which means technically your mortgage provider could actually withdraw their mortgage provision during the works, which I'm sure you'd find mildly inconvenient. So don't be drawn into a position where you haven't looked down every legal avenue, including your loan agreements. Number 4, specify the works. Come up with a budget and try and do that as completely as you can. Architects are quite good for expediency at putting in what's called provisional sums for items in the contract. So they might put, for instance, £40,000 in for a kitchen, and your vision of what your kitchen might be is £100,000. So when you get to the bottom of the builder's estimate or tender for your project, that kitchen is in at 40k when actually you know you're going to spend 100, so the sums aren't going to add up at some point. Whatever budget you've allowed for a building contract, add 30% to it. You want a provisional sum in there which picks up all of the stuff that you've forgotten, and bear in mind there'll be loads of that. And there'll also be things that go wrong that you'll need to pay for. So add 30% to it and then work back from there is my suggestion. So if your budget's 200,000, split that in 3, roughly your budget's actually 140, 150,000, and you've got 50 odd thousand hanging around for stuff that'll go wrong. Number 5, choosing your contractor. Most people choose a contractor based on price or reputation, but there are other things that you really need to look at. The experience of the contractor is hugely important, and one of the things we look at as an underwriter is the background financials to the contractor. So if you look at Companies House and you track down the person that you're dealing with, and it turns out they've had 5 building firms in the last 10 years, and lots of those have gone into liquidation, you could probably guess that every so often they have a contract that really doesn't go quite as smoothly as it should. And it's at least worth asking some questions, because quite often, and we found this out when we did focus groups a while ago, only one person out of 54 had bothered to put their tender on a spreadsheet and actually put in what the builder had tendered for each part of the tender document. And what he found out, almost by mistake, was that of the 3 builders who quoted, the most expensive one, funnily enough, was the only person who quoted for everything. All the others had missed bits out, and they were providing fixed price contracts, but they weren't providing fixed price contracts for everything they'd asked for. So, really concentrate on choosing your contractor, and don't be afraid to dig, because it's what we'll all be doing to find out whether they're any good. Number 6 is practical completion. Practical completion occurs when the works are at an end and the contract administrator signs them off as having been done. At the point of practical completion, whatever works insurance you have, whether you're using the contractors or hopefully you're using ours, that insurance finishes and drops off a cliff at that point. So you need perhaps a month out from the end of your contract to start engaging with your insurance broker or your insurance provider to actually get a quote organised, because some people like insuring freshly renovated property. You might actually think it's a great risk, but other people don't. So you need to leave yourself some options and give yourself some time, and assume when practical completion will occur, and make sure you know when it has, so that you're not left uninsured. If it's a Friday afternoon at 6 o'clock when you find out it's not going to be great. 7. This is just a bit of an apocryphal warning, if you like. Ambition over ability and budget really doesn't get you where you want to be. And you'll see when you've noticed on programmes like Grand Designs, they have the conversation with Kevin McLeod at the end of it. Well, your budget was 500,000. What did you end up spending? Oh, well, we ended up spending 1.2 million. Well, there you go. All the points I've been trying to make earlier, and you'll have seen some of that borne out in the projects as they're actually trying to deliver them. All of that stuff's coming true. So if you're trying to achieve the impossible, there's a fair chance it is impossible. So just bind your ambition with humility and do your homework properly, and you'll soon find out whether what you want to deliver that's part of your dream is a realistic dream or not. If you haven't listened to the other parts of this podcast series, you probably want to trickle through those if you can. They give you lots of great examples about what's gone right and what's gone wrong. Some of my other colleagues are talking about that as well. So get involved, look at these and see what you can do with them. Good luck.
And that is it for this series of Renovation Uncovered. All you need to know to guide you through the insurance minefield that can be a renovation project. We hope it's helped you to put you in control of understanding all the risks and to decide if you're prepared to put your home on the line or not whilst it's being renovated. If you need to find a renovation-approved broker, then please use the Find a Broker tool on our website. It's renovationunderwriting.com. It's the best place to start. And if you know someone who's also looking to undertake a renovation, mention this podcast to them. Nobody should lose their home because they're not adequately insured. I'm Daniel Fox, and thanks for listening.